Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters video. Alright, let's go ahead and let's do another entry here. This one yet again based on one of your new suggestions. This one by far one of the weirdest ones yet. I mean, when I was looking at the information on here, I think this is a first. This is absolutely the first time I have talked about a cryptid that basically exists to gossip. That's right. It basically lives to be able to tell others about what's happening within the community. And for all intents and purposes, it's almost like its own version of a paparazzi, something along those lines. It was very weird reading this information. Those of you that are on the local level, if you have more info as to why the creature is this way or why the rituals are this way, let me know, please. But you're looking at a picture of it now. It has a very unique name as well, and it's known as the Badalisc. So let's go ahead and let's talk about this gossipy creature. I'll try to present all the information possible and then give my own thoughts and opinions on it afterward. So here's essentially what I mean. So what is this Badalisc? Well, you have to go there to Italy, there in the southern Central Alps. They're at an area called the Val Camonica. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Val Camonica, which is one of the largest valleys located there. And then specifically, you can go to a spot if you wanted to know where this creature lived. That's called a commune of Sevo, which is a tiny little village, it looks like, around that area. But otherwise, that's essentially where you'll find this creature. It has apparently been around for a long time, so much time period, in fact, it has become part of their culture to the sense that there's an annual ritual. Remember that word I was mentioning earlier? That's done with this particular creature. First, though, let's talk about its physical characteristics. So apparently, this is a creature that is pretty large. It's larger, in other words, than your average human, not too large that it essentially dwarfs them, but it's not small either. It's represented by having a very, very large head as well. And then over this head, it has this almost skin that comes from a goat. So even who knows if it's wearing it more on the lines of like some kind of makeshift skin, or if it actually has the skin of a goat itself. And then protruding up from its head are these two small horns, these glowing eyes, and then it has a very, very large mouth. But otherwise, the rest of its body seems to look more on the lines of, for lack of a better term, of a salamander. That's the first impression that I got when I was looking at this creature. So this creature has lived there again for a long time, and over that time period, it's developed a custom. It's lived by the community or the villages for such a long time period that it knows what's happening within that area. Maybe it eavesdrops, maybe it just gets its news somewhere else. But it apparently annoys the villages by being able to learn about what's happening around its location. Maybe, who knows why it understands English, or maybe if it even communicates I'm sorry, not English, but in Italian and whatever language that the villagers speak. But it learned it, and when that happened, that's when it in turn knows all of their deep, dark secrets. And the villagers have in turn used this to their advantage. So somewhere along the way, sometime in the past, it became a ritual to capture the Badalisc, not to capture it to kill it or to eat it or to do anything bad, but rather to capture it and then take it around the community. And this specifically happens on January 5th and 6th, which is a period known as Epiphany. And then there, it's led around by a specific set of characters that include someone called the young man, someone called the old man, someone called the old woman, and then another one called the signorina, who is actually someone that is apparently used as bait for the animal. It implies that the signorina is more along the lines of a female. And then when that happens, that's when the creature is taken around the area, and then that's where there's this ritualistic set of drums that are beaten down on, and then there's these makeshift witches, and then also a hunchback, and then they basically move this creature from one spot to another. And when this happens, that's when this speech comes out from the Badalisc. So apparently, again, it speaks their native language. And when it does so, this speech that it reads, or in some cases, it's been written down and it's someone within the community that reads it, it in turn spills out all the details, all the gossip that the Badalisk heard throughout the year itself. So, in other words, from January 5th and 6th from last year up until this current Epiphany, that's when the rest of the villagers hear what the Badalisk has heard. So this could be good news, this could be bad news, but it's supposed to reveal all the sins and all the scheming that the community is going on behind doors. And then when that happens, obviously it no longer becomes private, it becomes public. And who knows what the rest of the community hears about their neighbors, like what they're planning about them and so on. But either way, it's almost like the Badalisk is used as a way to air dirty laundry. That's the impression that I got as well. Once this dirty laundry is aired, then it's almost like there's a cleansing throughout the community. Bad feelings, bad intents are released, and it's supposed to make the community almost feel better for the next year. And then this is again a ritual, something that involves the drums that I was mentioning earlier. It involves music, it involves dancing, it involves singing as well. All those characters that I was mentioning earlier as well, like the old man and the young man and so on, they're all just almost like actors that are dressed up that in turn lead this Badalisk around. There's even a big feast too. Like there's a set of Badalisk salami that is served around that area. And in turn, the Badalisk themselves, throughout the entire night, they are treated almost as a celebrity, even though they're the ones that spill the gossip associated with the community, and they're kind of seen as an annoyance, as I was mentioning earlier. All in all, though, still they have a reverent spot within that village, and so they're given a place of honor at those particular feasts throughout the entire night. And then once everything is all said and done, once it finishes, then the Badalisk is quote unquote released back into the woods, no doubt to stay around for another year, help gather all the juicy gossip that the villagers will partake in throughout the next 365 days. And then it's going to be captured again for the ritual to start yet again the next year. So again, what do you think about that? This is truly one of the most unique cryptids I've ever talked about. I would never have thought when I started this channel that I would have a monster or a cryptid that would be a gossip creature, somebody that would basically be alive to be able to be like the New York Post or some other type of item that involves juicy details associated with stories and behind the scenes stuff and so on. But there it is. There's the Badalisk, and it's a one of a kind, and it's the only one that does this particular type of tradition. But let me know what you guys think as well. As for all we know, this is a creature that's still doing this to this day. Maybe it's still out there within those village/areas associated in Italy. Anyone again on the local level that has any more specific detail, maybe just because of different cultures and different customs, maybe I was interpreting it wrong. But if someone has a more listed set of details as to what this creature does and why, then please post it on the comments, especially from a local level. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.